Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Is there anyone who would like to present a case or a problem? Yes,
Again, something.
please, go ahead.
It's a family with whom I'm working.
Yeah,
And there are 4 children. A boy, 14, and then a girl, 10, and another boy, 7, and a baby girl who's about a year and a half. The older boy was identified through the school system as having some learning difficulties, underachieving several years ago, and I don't believe anything specific came out of that particular referral. The younger boy, one who was 7, was referred to me this year, in school psychologist. And the problem was his excessive activity in the classroom, his inability to focus on the learning material, using his time productively to the point where the teacher would then have to keep him after school to do the work that he should have been doing all day long. And she could not break through to him that if he would just do the work at the proper time, he was not being required to stay. In addition to that problem, he had developed a stuttering symptomatology. And going back through the records, I now have the family, the entire family in therapy. The presenting problem as far as the family is concerned is simply to reduce the chaos that goes on in the home. The arguing, the physical fighting that the older boy does with the next oldest, who is a girl, and her provocative behavior of nagging at him, making faces, making uncalled for remarks, and all of this stuff that goes back and forth. She provokes and he gets in it gyrates from there. And the parents are very, very uncomfortable and looking for some answers as to how to reduce this amount of chaos. The reason why it comes to my mind is that there are some, I guess we are geared to psychosomatic kinds of things here, that in addition to Vincent's stuttering difficulty, in going back through the record, I found out that Anthony, the oldest boy, who was 14, was a breath holder. And as an infant, he used to hold his breath and actually pass out for 2 or 3 minutes, which of course terrified the parents. They did not understand, thought something was tremendously wrong. What were they doing wrong? To the point where if the mother went out in the evening and the child did this in the father's care, he would have to call her up and she'd come running home to tend to his child's need. Well, once the pediatrician assured them that he was going to resume breathing once he lost consciousness, this helped a great deal. This boy, in addition to this phenomenon as an infant, has an overeating problem. He really is pretty overweight. The next little girl, the next child, who was Lisa, 10, also is a pretty pudgy little girl, and I say that she should probably at some point be monitoring her calories too, but I don't think it's that big a problem to her yet. But I think that eating is an important thing in this family. She has developed, in gathering history from the mother, she described kind of an arm jerking tick kind of behavior, which I have not ever witnessed, except that I have picked up a cough. And I asked the mother if Lisa had a cold or something wrong, and she said, no, that is strictly a nervous mannerism also. I think I'll just leave it right there.
Yes. Now, what is the question?
I think that my question is, how can I help these people to help themselves to live more comfortably as a family unit?
Yes. Very good question. All right. So you recognize that here is a family which suffers together. What are they suffering from? Does anyone know? Every member of the family is suffering from every other member of the family. Right? What are they suffering from? Mrs. Hora, you know? That's right. The family. This family is suffering from interaction. What is interaction? Interaction is what psychology highly regards as very important in life. It is called interpersonal relationships. Everybody is learning how to maintain, manage, and live with interpersonal relationships. And much of psychotherapy traditionally is conceived of as helping people to live more successfully and effectively in interpersonal relationships. Now the trouble is that interpersonal relationships have a tendency to deteriorate into interaction thinking. What is the basis of this tendency to deteriorate? It is the love of excitement. Our culture not only values interpersonal relationships as socially desirable and very important, but our concept of the good life is generally based on the assumption that the main ingredient of happiness is excitement. When we say, oh, we want to say something good about some experience, we say it was an exciting experience. So, we seem to be victims, as one patient put it, of wrong misconceptions. Our whole culture seems to suffer from wrong misconceptions. There is a difference between excitement and excitation. What is the difference? Excitation is nothing else but stimulation of our vitality, of our responsiveness, reactiveness to various aspects of living. But excitement is a condition of consciousness which enjoys being disturbed and overstimulated. Excitement, the search for excitement is particularly marked among children and teenagers in general. They are forever looking for excitement. The more we cherish excitement, the more we suffer from boredom. You see, boredom is the flip side of excitement. And we often hear children complain, "I am bored. I have nothing to do. My stereo is broken. The TV is not." You see, all the children in our culture are addicts, addicted to continuous excitement. When they do their homework, they have the television set on and they have their stereo going and the telephone and constant consumership of excitement. Now we have developed life into a form of continuous excitement. So interaction thinking has become very prevalent. So this beautiful presentation which we had today is a model of family life in our times, in our culture, which manifests certain basic misconceptions about what is good, what is healthy, and what is truly desirable. Now, it is very difficult to heal people of the love of excitement. You have your work cut out for yourself with this family. Because how are we going to convince people that excitement is really not so hot? It is difficult because there is a dread of boredom. Boredom is something that most people are very much afraid of. And since unenlightened man is a prisoner of dualistic thinking, he cannot conceive of any other alternative. Either you have an exciting life or you have a boring life. What else could there be? Right? Let's have a show of hands. Can anyone here tell us whether there is a third possibility? Gertrude.
There has to be, otherwise you wouldn't be asking.
That's a pretty safe assumption.
So I'll say yes.
Beg your pardon? Contented life? Yes, but these people would say, I am most contented when life is exciting. Right. And then somebody would say, contentment is for cows. Right?
A meditative life?
Meditative life, that's for holy men, for Buddhists, Orientals.
Existentially valid, right?
You bet.
I'll explain it in simple.
Wait, that. Now, well, let's have some more guesses. What is that which is neither exciting nor boring?
I would say a centered life.
Centered life.
In which there is a management, is where you say of feeling.
The management of feeling. By whom?
By the, in other words, there is not too many highs, too many lows. There is a management. There's a centeredness to one's being.
Yes.
Based on
What do you mean by management of feelings?
awareness. Awareness of feelings followed by the conscious choice to direct the psyche, directed to anxiety, directed to depression, directed to self-emotion.
It's hard to understand what you are saying. Can anybody explain what John is saying?
Moderation.
Moderation.
He's calling for moderation. Don't be too much on this side or on that
Yeah.
side.
Well, can you choose to do this? Can you?
Well, if thoughts are energy,
Yes.
if you think along those lines,
Yes.
you might make it sometime.
That would be a hit or miss proposition, wouldn't it?
Oh, no.
No?
I mean, if you discipline yourself to think, not to be extreme, not to have a mode of being that is extreme.
Well, you see, John's response indicates an operational approach to the problem. Our question was oriented towards a value. We are seeking a value which would be an alternative to the dualism of excitement and boredom. And John tells us how to do it, but he doesn't tell us what. It's an operational attempt. In meta-psychiatry, we have a principle which says, if you know what, you know how. But you are telling us how even before we have found out what. And that's very frequent. We are ready to fix something which we don't even know yet what it is. So here is, we have established, we diagnosed a cultural disease called the love of excitement and the fear of boredom. This disease is founded by an exit in the invalid value. It's a value. The culture is afflicted by espousal of a value which is existentially invalid. And we have seen it from the case presentation that if a family unwittingly tries to live according to this value, this will then inevitably result in pathology. All sorts of pathology, not only family pathology, but we see stuttering, we see what else? Obesity, tics and disturbance, school performance, yes?
And the breath holding.
And the breath holding, all sorts of pathology results from unwittingly accepting a false value and trying to live by it. Values can be pathogenic, like in this case, or can be health promoting and healing. Now what we are seeking is the healing value, which would be an alternative to this pathogenic value of excitement and boredom. Yes, Gertrude?
Where it isn't dualism,
Yes.
which means two things, then what we're aiming at is unity, a one thing, a oneness.
All right. Can you help us out?
That's what I was afraid you'd ask. But isn't that what we're supposed to be thinking?
Well, we never say what it's supposed to be or what you're not supposed to.
I mean, if we want to aim at healing, we have to, we can't be split all the time.
Oh, we can if you choose to.
And be healed,
No, no.
well, if that is our aim, then
We-
we have to get away from
Yes.
the split. And the split is the one.
But we cannot assume that everybody's aim is to be healed. Most people are not really interested in healing. They are interested in what?
Okay.
No, in an exciting life. Don't you want it? Your life to be exciting. Huh? So we have a whole family which is sick of excitement. Now, how are we going to help them? Unless we know what would be the healing alternative to this idea. Clark, what is better than excitement and boredom?
Well, I can't quite put things together, but it seems to me that creativity has something to do with the excitation or the impulse toward action has that creativity is somehow the way out of this double bind that what makes a life worth living is not being excited or being bored, but being open to create something in life,
Yes.
of life.
How would you apply this value to in this particular case?
Well, I came in late and didn't hear most of the case, so I can't
Excuses,
talk to
excuses,
this.
all the time. Ted, you wanted to say something.
Well, so it would seem that the right value would be inspiration.
and yet from a source which is existentially valid and which continually made life a joy.
Inspiration is not a value, Ted. It is a means towards a value. What is the value which is health promoting?
Peace.
That's a pretty close.
In the sense of shalom, fullness.
Shalomfulness? What's
The
that?
peace, the completeness, Donald and Clark, value of completeness within one's identity.
Mm.
The idea behind
Mm.
the Hebrew word shalom.
Tom, you are thinking of something.
Sure am.
Yes?
And it seems to me that this here the basic underlying problem is the universal one of that most people address themselves to as trying to convince themselves that they're alive. And hence the search for excitement.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very good.
No day.
Yes.
And hence more search for excitement. So it
Correct.
seems to me if you get around that and give these people a chance to feel alive without having excitement.
Right.
They might have all this extra energy to go about living instead of constantly complaining.
Very good. Yes. We forgot to mention that excitement is self-confirmatory. That's very good point, Tom. But now, how would you go about helping this family?
Yeah, get down to brass tacks. Seems to me the right approach it would be to express to them the idea that they are lovable and alive and have the right to be that way without doing anything about it. And that all these ways they're trying to prove that just take up all the time and still don't do it. And see if they couldn't let go of it, just temporarily try it and feel lovable and feel alive as a matter of, as a given of alive, rather than something that would achieve.
Yes. Do you think they could let go of it?
No.
No. Then we are helpless.
They have a right to be sick nowadays too.
Well, any other suggestion? Does everyone here know what self-confirmatory ideation means? I see two guests here. You never heard of it. It is a way of reassuring ourselves that we exist, we are important, and we are persons in our own right. And the excitement helps us to feel like persons. Now, but we have still, you see, in order to help this family in a practical way, we have to be able to demonstrate to them there is something better than excitement or boredom. Well, they know that boredom stinks, but that excitement, we have to first of all help them to recognize that the essence of their suffering lies in the love of excitement, exciting interaction. Well, this can be demonstrated to them. When you talk about what's going on in a family, you can see that everybody is interacting with everybody else in order to experience excitement. Now, it would never in 100 years occur to them that there is something wrong with excitement. And when you will show it to them, they'll be very surprised. Now, as you know, metapsychiatric therapy consists of 3 steps. The 3 R's of metapsychiatry: recognition, regret, and reformation. So first we have to try to help the family to recognize wherein does the problem lie. What is the meaning of their problem? Once they have recognized that they are all pursuing an exciting life and they are hurting themselves and each other, then hopefully we can guide them to the point of regret. They have to say, gee, this is a mistake, I'm really sorry. We can guide them to the point of regret. They have to say, gee, this is a mistake, I'm really sorry that we got entangled in such a mistake. This is important for them to reach a point of regret. And yes?
Is there any recognition of it being a mistake unless they already see a valid alternative?
Yes, they can yes, you can get them to the point of regret even if they don't yet see a valid alternative. In order for a reformation to take place, we have to help them find a valid alternative. And I'm sorry to say, none of you have yet given evidence of having found a valid alternative.
I'd like to take another crack at it. But it would seem that the love of being loving would be the valid alternative. That there's so much jockeying in this family for excitement and pushing and pulling. Sort of an idea of getting something from each other, stimulation. That it would seem to be that you would have to live out of a source that would be existentially valid, such as love.
Yes. But you know, people have very strange ideas about love. And I venture to say that they would say, but we are very loving. If we love excitement, doesn't that prove that we are loving? Well, certainly the right kind of love is a safe alternative whenever we are facing problems. But are you ready to hear the real alternative?
Could I throw in something? I think that attention seeking, and where would that fit in this overall discussion, is really the underlying dynamic.
Yes.
Each one in its own way is seeking the attention which apparently is lacking
Yes.
for some reason in the individual life.
Yes. But what is attention seeking?
Confirmation of being alive.
Right. It is self-confirmatory ideation, but the attention seeking can take place in quiet ways too, or in devious ways. And in this particular, and most often it is in terms of exciting interaction, teasing and provoking, you describe. Yes. So when we say that excitement is self-confirmatory, that includes attention seeking. Yes? Drawing attention to oneself. If those of you who play the piano, if you hit a discordant chord, what is the remedy to that?
Practice leading to
That's an operational response.
Harmony
Harmony.
is the right word.
You see?
Yes, I think.
Now we have here a family devoted to modern music. They play modern music together, full of discordant tones. The alternative is to awaken them to the appreciation of beautiful, harmonious music. Yes,
You enlighten those of us who are not privileged to have a musical background.
yes. Well, can't you tell a discordant chord? Or anybody, even deaf people, can tell the difference between a harmonious chord and a discordant chord. But anyway, the value of excitement and boredom can be effectively replaced by learning to appreciate harmony and love, as Ted said. Love, which is not based on self-confirmation, because that's selfishness and egotism, but love, which derives satisfaction from unconditional benevolence. Yes?
There seems to be, at least from working out in the physics definition of harmony, a modulation of the family that is already harmonious, but it's harmonious around the axis of excitement and boredom. In other words, they are working together as a unit.
And what?
But it's translated on the plane though to not in the harmony that you're speaking of. But how would, this is an operational question, how would you demonstrate to the family that the harmony that they are now exhibiting is not the harmony that you're speaking of? Because I think they are harmonious, but it's a discordant.
Let's go to harmony.
I don't know, but it would be, in physics, you have a harmony on an XY graph, and you can translate it in different ways. But they're modulating together.
No. I'm sorry I brought in the music because you are speculating now.
I guess the confusion comes in, the family is working together.
No.
They are working together with each other
I'm sorry.
to produce excitement and...
They are working together to produce disease and eventual disintegration. That's how they are working together.
That's correct, but it's they're playing against one and the other. They all have a different role to play, and they're all playing it. There's no one who's acting out of the role. They're all moving together in a pathological manner.
Yes. Now, it is also necessary to transcend the personal concept. What is you see, we cannot blame these people. The members of this family are not to be blamed. We cannot say they are working together against each other. We can say a false value is destroying the family.
They aren't working together.
Of course
They're
not.
using each other to interact.
Yes. But it is much more helpful to see that the problem are not the people. in this family. The problem is the false value. And we are not going to take 4 children, a mother and a father separately and cure them personally. We are not treating people, and we are not treating illnesses. What are we treating? Values. In this particular case, of course. We could say the whole family is manifesting a discordant mode of being in the world. But what we are treating is the value, which is endangering the coherence and mental health and physical health of this family. So we seek to alter the value. You see, values have a dynamic impact on our lives without realizing it. Whatever we cherish, whatever we hate, and whatever we fear has the greatest possible impact on our mode of being in the world. Now, in traditional psychotherapy, we treat people and we seek to change people. In medical psychotherapy, we treat diseases. In metapsychiatry, we treat modes of being in the world, which are determined by consciously or unconsciously espoused value systems. Just as the value of excitement is threatening to destroy this family, so the value of harmony and love can heal this family. And it is the therapist's task to guide the family, especially the parents, through the 3 steps: recognition, regret, and reformation. When the value of harmony and love is fully appreciated and understood by the parents, the family will be healed. Nothing more will need to be done. But it takes a certain amount of wisdom and ability to establish such meaningful communication with these parents so that they might realize what is really happening to the family. Yes?
I just wonder how open they'd be to that as long as they have such overt intervention by the school system and everybody else, which is really very operational and plays right into their quest for excitement. So it confirms the effectiveness they already tracking.
Yes. Well, we have here a tremendous problem, because not only do we have to counteract the influence of the school system, but the entire culture. Yeah? Nevertheless, it is feasible, and with a little experience, just as you are able to see the validity of what was said right now, these parents may also be able to see the validity of what is being said. And that's all there is to it. It's very simple. If the therapist has the right understanding, he can guide the family through the 3 steps leading to the reformation. And reformation leads to transformation. And the whole family atmosphere may undergo a change, and in a changed climate, mental climate within the family, these symptoms of stuttering and overeating, they just disappear. They don't need special attention. Interesting to contemplate what would happen if every child were assigned to a different child therapist, one to be cured of stuttering, one to be cured of overeating, one to be cured of breath holding, and they would be therapeuticized separately. And what can we expect under such circumstances? Absolutely nothing.
Except a lot of money to be paid out by the APW.
Because it is not, see, it's not dealing with the fundamental issue.
What you're saying, Dr. Hora, that I think from an operation point of view, should the therapist work only with the parent, at least for the time being?
Absolutely. It is just a waste of time and energy, because you cannot help these children until the total mental climate in the family has been healed. And once that has been healed, everything will heal spontaneously. There will be no need of special attention. The mental climate is determined by the conscious or unconscious values which the family is seeking to realize.
Even though you wouldn't treat the entire family together, you just
No, just a mother and a father. The children don't have the conceptual capacity to alter the value system, but the parents have. And children are living in a mental climate determined by the value system of the parents. So what we are treating is the mental climate through the parents' consciousness.
And suppose the parents won't cooperate, and you have a situation where the school system responds to a very real pathology in the kid.
If the parents won't cooperate, there are 2 possibilities. Either you will have a frustrated therapist or a not frustrated therapist, depending on how mature she is.
Good time.
What if there's one parent that will cooperate and not the other? Can you work with the one?
Yes, just like you can walk on one foot, one leg. It's harder that way, right? Yes, but I think that this is not difficult to have both parents see the problem, because we are not treating the parents. You see, we are not saying it's your fault, if you have to do something, or you have to find out how your mother has influenced you and what your Oedipus complex is. We are not treating intrapsychic processes, right? We are treating an outlook on life. And people are not afraid of that. We'll have a harmonious lunch today.